to full screen, and this is game 2 of the finals of the AirMech Top Gun tournament, and we are on Duel. This is the counter pick from the Carbon player in the upper left hand corner. Akroz now going with the Easter Osprey. Oh, he is playing a normal game. He does have Rebels. He has a normal loadout. He does have Rebels in his loadout, so we will see if he incorporates that into his play. And his opponent is the player in the bottom right hand corner, Tangibility in the classic striker. So very, very interesting. Akroz changing it up here. Wants to play Tangi in a normal standard, balanced game. However, he does still have Rebels in his loadout, so I'm a little curious to see as to is he gonna go straight up normal standard play and use Rebels in moderation as normal people might do it, or will he still go the crazy Rebel play? Rebel spam play that he's been doing the entire game. He is queuing up quite a lot of Rebels, and Tangi still going no moneymaker, and Akroz does have moneymakers in his loadout. So Tangi immediately putting down an artillery to start shooting away at the neutrals at mid and grabs some creeps to bunker. So both players are going pretty defensive because Akroz is going straight up with bunkered creeps as well. Akroz 4 Rebels at this outpost straight up to defend, and 2 at the close. Full socketed moneymakers here for Akroz and Tangi. I haven't really gotten to analyze Tangi's socket units yet. Let's see, he has nothing at the last stand, just a T-45 and a lunchbox at the fort, and just a T-40. What is happening? I guess this is the normal weirdo play that we are used to seeing from Tangibility. Tangi does not have Blaster Guardians like he did before, and he is going Striker instead of Neo. He has 2 basic loadouts that he's been playing throughout this entire game.
Tangi was able to take down a moneymaker from Akroz, and now Tangi is at the front. Nope, does go down.
Yeah, those Rebels did quite a number on him. I guess he didn't see that Seeker hiding behind that cactus right there, and that was able to actually get a lot of damage off on him. And now Akroz is going to be able to drop some Rebels here at the front door, but Tangi immediately blocks with a Longhorn. And I do think this will be more of a traditional game, minus the fact that Tangi does not have any moneymakers.
Exactly.
So Akroz now bringing up a Seeker. I would expect him to rebuild that moneymaker as soon as possible. He does definitely see it, putting a Rebel in that socket. But now actually does have 3 Longhorn in queue. Tangi has Longhorn out on the field for himself as well. And Akroz trying to harass that artillery, but not able to get it. Tangi is right there, so I'm not really sure why he decided to drop and harass right when Tangi was already in the area. Oh, and then neutral artillery. I hate those neutral artillery, man. They were pelting away at Tangi's Jackal or Longhorn or whatever that was up there. And now Tangi is starting to reposition his artillery and go for that mid-fight. But Akroz with a Rebel sneaking behind enemy lines. Gonna go for a socket unit probably? No, gonna go for harassment. Distraction actually for the most part. I'm not sure what that was. Yeah, I don't know why. He's trying to kill he didn't commit to killing that artillery either. That was really random. I don't know why he decided to do that. I think what he did, okay, here's my guess. He flew by. He was going to do some harassment, some moneymaker attack or something like that, some socket unit harass, but I think he flew by and said, there's not really anything worth it for me to kill over here.
So it's almost a habit of going down there to do harass and then realize
for the most part,
doesn't have anything to harass.
Exactly, there's nothing there. All he had was like a lunchbox and T-45s, and I don't even know if a level 2 Osprey would have been able to solo a T-45, especially on a socket. I'm guessing no. So I don't think that Akroz really didn't have anything that he could have done at that point. Now queuing up some probes, gonna try to take this mid and start to ferry stuff across, I think. And using that Osprey will definitely be, actually, with those 2 Jackals on the other side and all those Longhorns sitting over there, Tangi has actually been able to prevent Akroz sort of indirectly from taking that outpost.
With an infantry spam.
Yeah, more probes coming out. I don't know if this will be fast enough, though. Oh, and Tangi slashing with that sword. Oh, my God, they all died. Man. So now we have a lot of Longhorn on the left side of this mid for Akroz, a lot of Longhorn, and a couple other random units on the right side for Tangi. Tangi has a very nice spread. Akroz has a very nice clump. I don't know if those 2 things should be in the same sentence together, very nice and clump, but Tangi definitely has an advantage with these artillery. Akroz might start to move out, I'm not sure, but these artillery are firing at those tanks on the other side of that outpost while Akroz's tanks are doing absolutely nothing.
I want to say this is a very scary point right now, especially in Duel, when you begin to have your units going on the closer to your opponent's fortress. So, you know, Tangibility all of a sudden could say, you know, all these units right here, I'm going to go and I'm going to go attack your main wall.
Yeah, that's a very big possibility.
They got to be very mindful of that, where they don't want to move too much that direction, because all of a sudden your opponent can say, ha, just kidding, I'm not going for mid, I'm going right for your main.
Yeah, and that's something that trips up a lot of players. Honestly, I would be a little bit afraid of Akroz's clump, because that's a lot of Longhorn. There are no Seekers though, and Tangi, as we have seen, is really skilled at landing, slashing, and staying alive, and killing Akroz in that bombing run before he can get back to that outpost. Oh man, what is Tangi gonna do with this time? Looks like he's not gonna do too much. But besides leapfrog his units even closer to that middle outpost, now another Seeker coming out, and Akroz back to the fight, healing up his Longhorn. So how are these guys going to make this approach? Tangi doesn't actually have Akroz doesn't have any artillery in his loadout, so that Sonya is doing wonders for him. It's really good that he actually has that for him, for his purposes. And now Tangi coming out with more Longhorn. Akroz doing the same. This is a normal tank battle. Damn, this looks like early beta for me. It was all infantry spam and just tanks all day, with a couple other random stuff that you might want, but there is nothing but tanks on the field right now. Tangi getting himself killed by all those Longhorns. Tangi, Daw is right. I don't know what the hell that was, what happened there, but Akroz now coming with a Longhorn to the front door. Tangi respawning really quickly. Level 4 Striker. Dang, that was a really fast respawn. And now Tangi is still, oh my god, he lands behind Longhorn and actually slashes one to death. That's pretty crazy. I don't have the guts to do that.
Did Striker get like an increase in damage for its sword? It seems like Tangi's just shredding anything he comes in contact with.
Yeah, when Tangi's the pilot, you get plus 100 damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, just,
yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, you forgot about that. Come on, man. How can you forget that? But anyway, now Akroz has another Sonya out on the field. Oh, what Tangi killed was not a Longhorn. That was the Sonya. And now front dooring here with two rebels blocking the way, but he will be able to kill that with his sword. Akroz has, now starting to come back here, but now has rebels 4 blocking. Tangi will probably reposition here. He's actually pretty low on life. He might just leave. Yeah, he is just leaving. So just leaving that Longhorn to die and not going to get any more damage off. He got about, I would say, maybe about a tenth to an eighth of Akroz's life that time. So that was actually pretty worthwhile for just the price of a Longhorn. That was a pretty good drop. And Akroz has no AA over here.
Yeah, but Tangibility doing a phenomenal job. You know, a really balanced right side forward where he's got 3 honeypots, he has artillery, he has some jackals, seekers, and longhorns. So such a diverse area, it's really helping it out where, you know, Akroz's area is smoking and falling apart. Tangibility's area is completely untouched.
Yeah, I think Akroz has been relying on himself to heal up all of his Longhorn, you know, his Osprey, and because he has to kind of dedicate all the time there, that allows Tangi to go wherever he wants without very much mech resistance. Instead of having to maintain his units and keep them alive, he has those honeypots there. Instead, and on the flip side, Akroz has to be there healing, hovering over, right-clicking on top of those units. That Sonya is smoking black, and those artillery are still firing in, even though they are kind of misfiring. I don't know if artillery has been buffed this patch in terms of DPS, but I know that the jammer / Sonya deflection has gone up. Now Akroz backing out of the mid fight, and Tangibility, I don't know how he's doing it, but he's pushing Akroz back without any moneymakers. He has 5 Longhorn in, and really low credits. He's still at about 5,000, but let's see how he decides to use these Longhorn. Is he going to...
I really want to say this right now. Tangibility has hardly lost any units.
Yeah.
It's those honeypots. Those honeypots are being huge right now for Tangibility and just healing up everything, where Akroz has not been able to really do any harassment or damage with them at all. And
Tangibility has been doing both keeping his units alive and harassing very, very effectively. Akroz with 2 Longhorn coming to the front door. Tangi was able to snipe a Moneymaker and 2 Rebels over there. Akroz now has the 2 Rebels firing at that front door. I don't know. Oh yeah, it is going double damage, and Akroz trying to keep this Longhorn alive as long as possible by healing it, and does do repositioning as well. Let's see if Tangi can actually get the blocking off. Yes, but they are still both blocked and will be able to striker sword them to death. A little bit of damage does go down, but that lunchbox working wonders for Tangibility. And even though Akroz does get a little bit of damage here or there, especially with these Longhorn drops, Akroz is just not I mean, Tangibility with that lunchbox will definitely be able to stay in the game as long as he can prevent any long-term damage from going down. And Akroz now, I mean, I don't know what I would do if I were Akroz at this point. Tangi has
Tangibility, phenomenal job right now, just complete map control, not being spread out. But when you have those honeypots now on the mid for Tangibility, it's just like it's a free healing unit. It's not costing you anything. It's not costing you upkeep. Yet it's healing everything. And Tangibility is pumping out these Seekers and Longhorns like it's nothing.
I have no idea how he's doing it. I'm gonna say hacks right now just because there's no other explanation.
Cash.
Yeah, exactly. And Tangi actually trying to get that Sonya killed with his striker sword. Both Sonyas actually, both in the same place. I don't know if that's exactly smart positioning because Tangi has that sword and actually might be able to kill both at once. But these arties are pelting away at Akroz's forward, and now Tangi just going crazy with that sword, just landing over and over.
It calls it exactly what you say.
And yeah, so look at this wall that Akroz made of Longhorn here at that front door. Tangi is not going to be able to penetrate that anytime anymore. Maybe from the side or something like that, from an angle, but there's no more threatening drops by Tangi against Akroz.
I want to give you some numbers real quick. Tangibility has 24 Longhorns out there right now. He had 0 moneymakers, but has 25 Longhorns, 5 Seekers, and 4 honeypots in that mid area.
And the upkeep is pretty much even. It's 151 to 147. Akroz is 4 in the lead, and that is negligible at this point.
It is, and if I were Akroz, I would be worried, saying, you know what, there's a lot of Longhorns on that right side of mid that Tangibility can make a push, and I don't think I could get there in time.
Tangi's actually been able to neutralize Akroz's forward with all that artillery fire. Gonna try to snipe the Sonya. Akroz does swoop in time to heal it up. That outpost does go back up to Carbon.
Longhorn brings it back very smart.
He saves it.
Not wasting a single Longhorn.
And he doesn't even need to hover over his outpost for it because he just drops it right next to a honeypot.
That's great.
Genius. It's just really, really smart play. And now Akroz is still trying to keep up with the Longhorns that are getting just smashed by that artillery. I'm a little surprised that Akroz didn't decide to go with artillery because he is an Osprey and this is Duel. It is typically, normally under normal circumstances, a pretty artillery-heavy map. Even in today's meta, after the artillery have been brought back, it's still something that I'd like to see.
Right here. Tangibility in there, clearing up some of the mid units. Just went in there when Akroz went away. So you know what? I'm going to go and kill some of those artillery and some of those Goliaths. So Tangibility again doing the same thing. I don't know if he's clearing this up because he has a strategy or just getting some XP.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's something that he can do, and it's something that he can afford to do. And now Akroz selling off his moneymakers. He really, really needs the upkeep, I guess. But any push, look at this line of Longhorn. Tangi is now starting to go out. I'm not really sure why he's deciding to go out at this point. It's still a little bit dangerous, especially because of this bottleneck right here. He can't really leapfrog the way that you kind of would want to. But does drop a Longhorn back here to distract all the other ones to allow his Longhorn to approach. He's not really going all in the way that I would assume that someone would go, but these Longhorn have been able to reach this outpost, neutralize it. There are not that much left. There are not many Longhorns left at the bottom area for Akroz, and Tangi's doing a really good job actually clearing this.
Yeah, doing a really good job. And what he's doing is he's sacrificing like a single Longhorn for the protection of 6 other ones. So when all units are focusing on him and a Longhorn, it allows them to sneak through. And look at all this scrap right here. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see Tangi with a couple of honeypots really soon dropping those over there.
Yeah, after he gets the Longhorn in the area to contest the other ones, I would expect some honeypots to go down, definitely. Akroz coming with some level 4 creeps, or some level 3 creeps. We are in quarter 3, and just drop a lunchbox here at this factory. So he's gonna try to keep this under his control for as long as possible. Getting your outpost neutralized is incredibly annoying. Tangi does it one more time. There are so many artillery just pelting away at this factory that there's not much that Akroz can do.
And Tangibility was able to take this with really what I want to consider a very big investment at all of units.
Yeah, there was.
He didn't even make a big push at all.
It was like a third of the stuff that he had at that mid. If it were any other normal player, it would have been everything, you know, just to play it safe.
Yeah, he stayed extremely safe, protecting mid, but was still aggressive enough to take out what Akroz had at that outpost.
And I do attribute it a little bit to that Striker Sword, because now the Striker Sword, the shield is active while the sword is swinging, so that is really, really great. It'll only cost you energy, it'll definitely help keep you alive, and it'll distract the enemy units as well, as, you know, at the same time as putting DPS down on the units that you're actually hitting. It's a really, really great combination.
Indeed, and right now, Tangi is sitting pretty good right now. Akroz, yeah, does have more income. I didn't even notice. We went past halftime heal. We had the income coming out. I was so distracted from that, but, you know, we're almost at quarter 4, 1 minute until quarter 4, and at Tangi, you know, look at all of these Longhorns and Seekers right here. I think Tangi can begin to make another aggressive push.
Akroz actually does have a lot of Longhorn out on the field as well. He has pretty close to the same number as Tangi, and is actually coming out with even more. So, you know, he has a lot of income, he has a lot of credits, so he can definitely afford to throw away these Longhorn. And is starting to move up.
Tangibility doing a phenomenal job with that sword and with that shield, coming from behind, making the rotation speed of those Longhorns to turn around so they can't shoot when they're rotating. So doing a phenomenal job distracting the Longhorns, going and changing directions.
And everything is dead. There is nothing left over there. That is just pretty crazy. Akroz trying to kill what he can with his Osprey fire. Not really going to be super productive. Might be able to actually get that Longhorn on the ground. Tangi not going to save it, but obviously the trade-off has been more Longhorn for Akroz than Tangibility, and now we probably will see another tank push. I would like to see even more from Akroz being pushed, because he has a lot, and he has a huge income. He has moneymakers down on the field. Tangi will definitely not be able to keep up with the number of Longhorn that he can pump out, and Akroz drops the ROFL. What's so funny, Akroz? I guess he's a little bit yeah, this is a little bit ridiculous. I don't know how Tangi is doing this without any moneymakers.
I love Tangi right now. Just like mechanics, I won't even think of. I gotta give a shout out just because, you know, he just had a big tank battle with that left outpost. But instead of going over, picking up all of his Longhorns and healing them up, he just sets them up by the honeypot and says, you know what, you can take care of that while I continue to harass.
Exactly.
It's very smart.
It's so awesome. It allows him to do other things when other normal players would be doing the typical chores of healing up units and all that stuff, and it gives him those precious seconds that he can use to drop extra Longhorn everywhere. He can slash at enemy mechs, slash enemy units, whatever, you know. And that's just one of the facets that that, you know, Tangibility is spreading to us. It's just so it's a little bit unbelievable. I once again would not recommend that you try doing this yourself.
No.
Just because.
But I mean, Akroz doing another really smart thing right now. You know, taking these Longhorns and placing the backs on the ledges so they can't get backdoor damage. That's just another smart play coming from Akroz that recognizes, and it helps him out a little bit.
Yeah, and he can do it really, really on the fly, make those decisions really, really quickly. They are a little bit disadvantageous positioning just because they won't be able to attack at Longhorn getting closer in a certain area. But now Tangi definitely making headway toward finishing this match. Akroz has already sold off his moneymakers. He only has 1 left in his queue, 2 left on the field, and now Tangi is doing a quick scout, seeing where he can attack. There are a lot of Longhorn everywhere. It's kind of turtly. It seems like one of the older style games, where the old turtle-ish meta, and I mean, honestly, it's still a little bit turtly, but it's definitely better than before. And this is looking very, very similar to that. I would expect Tangi to start leapfrogging and moving up, getting his artillery protected, and maybe not spamming, but producing more artillery, but instead he's going out with his Longhorn. I guess he's going last stand first. He might even completely ignore that close. And Akroz, with more moneymakers out, does realize that, okay, I'm okay with power. I really need more units out in the field. And these Longhorn have reached that last stand. I don't think Akroz has seen this. He will probably see it sometime now. And Tangi killing more artillery, I would assume for the experience. I doubt there's any other real reason. But
yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But, you know, the four Longhorn on the left-hand side are beginning to fight. I don't know if they're going to be able to neutralize it in time, especially with those level 4 creep in
the bunkers.
What is it? In the bunkers, thank you. Looking for that word, but at the same time, you know, really Tangibility doing what Akroz normally does, and that's harassment on multiple fronts.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily what Akroz does, but it's what his rebels do, and I really would have liked to see Akroz do that rebel play here. That would have been really awesome. Unfortunately, he decided to go standard, play a more regular game, which I do appreciate. And now Tangi sending Longhorn up, ferrying some up as well. I don't know if this is going to overwhelm Akroz, but it will definitely thin his numbers. Tangi might even have the income advantage at this point, just because he has more more outposts under his control. And look at all the Longhorn that have come over here for Tangi. Tangi slashing away. Akroz trying to keep stuff alive by healing them up, but Tangi going to be slashing away at this outpost. Will probably get it neutralized. More Longhorn over here for Akroz, so Tangibility will definitely lose the unit fight, but he has been able to neutralize the outpost. Let's see if he can bring some creeps or whatever. That's probably going to be Akroz's priority, but Tangi not prioritizing on that, just recreating his unit clump, trying to keep these artillery busy. They are definitely still firing at these Longhorn over here, and Tangi once again landing and slashing.
What would happen if you put a honeypot right in the middle there? That's a lot of salvage.
It would have a heart attack, I think.
I'm really surprised Tangibility has not taken these Longhorns and pushed them up to the next outpost, but that's probably just being safe with Akroz, because he's got a few at his front fortress as well.
Oh, definitely. I think, it's pretty standard top tier play to realize if an enemy moves out, then that's a vulnerable point. Yes, there is the threat of the incoming units, but when they have their units abandon an area, then that's a vulnerable area that's no longer defended. So that's probably something that Tangi is keeping in the back of his mind. If he moves his Longhorn out, that does leave mid much more vulnerable. And now Tangi with 3-4 level 4 creeps over here, slashing at that last stand. Akroz on the other side of the map, attacking these artillery, gets that honeypot killed actually, so he will be able to clear the rest of these units for the most part, or at least a lot of them. Tangi now coming back to the fight. Every single unit over there has been cleared, and 3 bulbs up on that last stand. So Akroz definitely does have to go back there. And now Tangi with level 4 creeps. I don't know if he's going to decide to go to the last stand. Oh, he might. Oh, and he's going to probably drop them and go away. Probably drop them and walk away. And at this point, Akroz probably can't keep up his Longhorn production to the point where it'll really be able to rival Tangibility and all the stuff that he has on the field. That is a lot of units being dedicated over here to this last stand. Yep. That's a lot of units, and this will probably go down to neutral. Level 4 creep, super OP. We are in overtime 1. We just hit overtime 1, and Tangi now able to neutralize this one more time. Akroz trying to heal up what he can, but now Tangi just slashing. That one Longhorn is left against all those creeps, and it's getting super confused, going back and forth between Tangi and the creeps, and Tangi has actually been able to take this outpost. Oh my god.
All those Longhorns in queue.
I think this will probably go down to neutral. He has bunkered these Longhorn in every single bunker, and dropping T-45s again on the sockets. He will probably need to bring some creeps once this outpost gets neutralized. Does grab that T-45 just in the nick of time to bring it out of queue, and Tangi is slashing away at these Longhorn. This Striker Sword has been the theme of the entire match, the entire tournament for Tangibility, and it's been such an effective tool, and Akroz is just not able to hold that outpost. Now Tangi will probably bring some creeps back. Nope, I never ever am able to really predict what Tangi's doing. It really bothers me. Like normal logical play says this. No, Tangi decides to do something different. So yeah, Akroz just trying to drop what he can. I would like to see him just push, go from post to post. I don't know how effective it'll be, but at this point, he is really behind, and I'd really like to see him take drastic action to try to get back in his game.
Yeah, and I mean we're counting down on overtime as well. We're only 3 minutes 30 seconds left to overtime too, so it's definitely getting to that point where we are beginning to see map control damage coming to these fortresses. Tangi now coming back out, putting more artillery, beginning to probably neutralize this right outpost as well, and continue to draw Akroz across the map.
Yes, he does have artillery set up over there, and they are completely uncontested. I think he was probably killing those artillery. I know now. I think I know now. He was killing those neutral artillery so he could put his own artillery in the area that they would have fired. You know, if he because if you take a look at those artillery that he has down on that right side right here, those are pretty much in range of where those Archies would have fired. So Tangi thinking 1,000 steps ahead. I can never predict. I can never understand.
As always.
So now more honeypots going down. He has this under his control, and I don't see this going anywhere. There are a lot of Longhorn. 92 to 185. Tangi has 185 upkeep worth of units out on the field. And that's just crazy. So now starting to leapfrog his units, his Longhorn up to that close. Gonna neutralize it, gonna take it. Akroz, pretty much all that Akroz has left is at his fort. There's a single Longhorn and a Rebel that's just kind of freaking out over here on the side. But now Akroz retaking this outpost. I don't think for too long. A lot of level 4 creeps coming out. And Tangi is just slashing away again and again, neutralizes the outpost. This is going to go under his control, and Akroz has his last 19 Longhorn out on 18 on the field, 1 coming out, and now Tangi just making his final steps toward that attack on Akroz's fort. There's a huge clump of Longhorn turtled at that fort right now, and Tangi is aiming to break it with those 2 arties. Definitely not close enough quite yet. And Akroz, doing a quick scout, actually does realize that there is not really too much on Tangi's side of the map, but that is pretty much to be expected. And Akroz, I don't know if he's actually planning on doing. Oh my God! What? How is he doing this? He landed in an area that how is he staying there? Oh my God, Debs. Debs. Oh my God, that was crazy. How did he go there? I did not even know you can do that. Akroz, that was pretty freaking OP, man.
Here we go. Tangibility right now.
Now moving out.
He's moving everything.
And he didn't use mass commands, which is kind of hilarious. Tangi. I know he's really used to using them, so I'm not really sure why he didn't. But now moving out with a lot of Longhorn, has those two arties pelting away at those Longhorn that are sitting in front of Akroz's fort. He only has 14 left out of the 18 or 19 that he had previously.
Wow, and look how much damage those artillery and just creeps did.
Yeah, a lot.
Before he even got there.
Yeah, he killed a pretty good amount, and a lot of them are also smoking. So I don't think that Akroz will be able to defend against this. Tangi even has more reserve Longhorn there at that last stand.
Did you see that Sonya glitch on the left-hand side where it was...
No, I did not. But yeah, this is pretty much going to be it. Tangi firing at that front door. Akroz back here, just like a spectator watching that back of the back of those Longhorn. GG. Tangibility has been able to take this win and win the finals of this match. GG Akroz. That was actually a pretty good game. And so yes, guys, I hope you enjoyed this tournament. That was the Top Gun tournament, and our Top Gun of AirMech today is Tangibility. Congratulations to Tangi for winning this game, winning that match, winning the finals, and becoming AirMech's Top Gun.